Tanmanjeet Singh to see.
Thank you very much. Madam Deputy Speaker, school children are taught that the Queen's speech follows the election of a new government and sets out the programme the government wants to enact. So the next time I visit one of my schools, I'm going to have a tough job explaining what exactly we are doing here this week. A new Prime Minister, not elected by the people, but by a diminishing band of Conservatives, a party in government with a majority of minus 45, a speech setting out 26 bills, few of which have any chance of passing in this current Parliament, and a general election possibly weeks away.
I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman give way, and I'm sure he didn't mean to mislead the House, but I think what he said is not accurate. That a Queen's speech starts a new session of Parliament that doesn't always just follow after a general election, but happens usually almost every year throughout a Parliament. It's not an unusual occurrence.
I take on board what the honourable member has just said, but I would point out that what has been extremely unusual is the manner in which the Prime Minister has tried to shut down our Parliament in the way that he has tried to prorogue. And I will actually come on to that. But a general election, Madam Deputy Speaker, possibly weeks away, rendering the whole programme null and void. I note that not even the Prime Minister's former employer, the Daily Telegraph, called it a pointless exercise. No doubt even Her Majesty must have been wondering, is that it? Where are the remaining pages? Perhaps the Prime Minister is too busy trying to mislead me, trying to illegally shut down this amazing, beautiful and historic place, trying to stop honourable members from holding him to account. Maybe that's why he forgot to hand over the remaining pages. This, Madam Deputy Speaker, is Alice through the looking glass stuff, with nothing how it should be and everything the opposite. So what should I be telling those school children? It is obvious, Madam Deputy Speaker, that this was not a Queen's speech, but an election manifesto. If we take away that ermine and jewels, we can see naked electioneering ahead of a nationwide poll. And if any further evidence was needed, consider why out of 26 bills, 7 were on law and order. The Conservatives' old pre-election favourite, an automatic headline generator for the Tory supporting press. However, this time it won't work. Why? Because after a decade in office, the Conservatives have surrendered their claim to be the party of law and order. People in Slough and elsewhere have seen reductions in their police and in community support officers. The Conservative Police and Crime Commissioner in Thames Valley has raised the precept by over 10%, but the money raised is only plugging the gaps. At the time, PC Craig O'Leary, the chair of Thames Valley Police Federation, said, "The rise in council tax, and I quote, just literally keeps us standing still." And nationally, the picture is the same. Between March 2010 and March 2018, police forces in England and Wales lost 21,732 officers, a reduction of 15% according to the Home Office's own figures. Numbers of police community support officers who patrol the streets have fallen by nearly 40% during the same period, from 16,688 in 2010 to 10,139 in 2018. And civilian staff have also been cut by 21% during the same period. It means the police are stretched to the limit. Not enough detectives, not enough patrols on the streets and estates, not enough support for victims and witnesses. Madam Deputy Speaker, one type of crime in particular makes us all feel less like things are getting done and things are getting out of control, and that is knife crime. In Slough this year, the tragedy of the murder of Elton Gashajaj, aged just 15, a victim of a stabbing, the tragic and senseless loss of a young man, leaving a family in grief and a community in shock. The BBC named Slough, alongside Manchester and Liverpool, as one of the areas outside of London where knife crime is a growing problem. Local people have real concerns, and that's why I joined Pastor Sola Ogoni and the congregation of the Redeemed Christian Church of God as they marched from Langley to central Slough with the message, "Stop knife crime." It reminds us of the important role played by faith organisations, churches, gurdwaras, temples, mosques and synagogues in mending our fraying society. And they are not alone in their concern. People in Slough want more police, more PCSOs, more probation officers, more prison officers, faster justice and support for victims. But people want something more. They want youth services, Madam Deputy Speaker, and to see the youth centres and the youth clubs reopen. Youth services have been cut by a staggering £1 billion since 2010, and we've lost 14,000 youth workers. People want thriving high streets and late-night shopping, parks and recs that are safe for families, jobs and apprenticeships for young people, and a strong society in which individuals and families can thrive. And now we have the pre-election promise of extra police officers. Madam Deputy Speaker, if someone steals £50 from your wallet and then promises to give £40 back several years later, does that count as a £40 increase? Of course not. This government has abandoned the field to the gangs and the lawbreakers and deserting decent citizens in the process and tearing apart the bonds of community. And now let me turn to another area which is vital to a strong society, vital to individual fulfilment, vital for a prosperous economy, and that's education. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, this is the dog that didn't bark. 7 bills on law and order, but where's the equivalent on rebuilding our schools, recruiting teachers and classroom assistants, driving up standards and opening opportunities, rebuilding our further education institutions, providing lifelong education from nursery to school to vocational qualifications to learning at work and into retirement? The government has nothing to say. We are fortunate that my honourable friend, the member for Ashton under Lyne, has plenty to say about rebuilding our education system, a national education service, Sure Start Plus, a lifelong learning, abolishing tuition fees, a truly transformational approach. And finally, let me ask the Secretary of State to address the issue of maintained nursery schools, such as Sippenham Nursery School in my constituency. You can't build success on uncertainty, yet there has been no promise to continue the £60 million beyond August 2020 to prevent more maintained nursery closures on our maintained nursery schools. When pressed by my honourable friend, the member for Manchester Central, the Education Secretary said it was under review. This just isn't good enough. These important schools must stay open and have the funding they need. The Prime Minister wants to trigger a pre-election debate about the best future for Britain. But if this Queen's speech is the best that he can do, then I say bring it on.